Hi guys, I'm going to take a quick look at where we can get the gear for Amazon Free Part 3. Essentially, I've seen the people shout asking where the vendor was, so well, let's try and show it to everyone. Essentially, there's a new map called the Typhon's Monster Invasion, and that is where you can find the new gear. I will also show you how to get there in case you don't have a teleporter, or in case your teleporter doesn't work for whatever reason. So once you're in the watchtower, essentially you need to go to Themyscira, or the Themyscira outpost. So let's go there right now. And from there you can either teleport straight to the Typhon's monster invasion, or again in Themyscira, in the Themyscira command post, there is also a portal that can take you there. So let's go there. Once you know it, it's simple enough. But whenever there's a new vendor and they hide it somewhere, it's always a bit tricky sometimes to find it. So you can see there's the portal for Gotham Under Siege for the Watchtower, and there's the one for Typhon's invasion, monster invasion. Essentially, it's a Superman-inspired set of gear. It comes from a series that was done by Michael Turner quite a few years ago. I think it was within the pages of Batman Superman comics. And there was this alternate Superman gear that Superman had. It was called the Godfall, I think, or something. Here they called it the Fallen God gear. So essentially, you will see there's this really sweet Superman emblem that you can get on the gear. And as usual, there's a DPS set of gear, there's a roll set of gear, so in this case it's going to be a controller set of gear. If you have a Superman character, you're going to want to have this chest, obviously. And this is the best gear in the game. You can see the price for the gear is a little pricey. The reason for that is that people have been asking for quite some time now for the developers to put the best gear in the vendors, and that's what they did. But they've done it. There's always a catch. Whenever you ask something to the devs, and whenever they give you what you think you want, essentially there's always a catch. In this case, they did put the best gear in the vendor, but the prices are pretty steep, so it will take you a while to complete the whole set. Essentially, people have made the math, and if you play every mission every day, it's going to take you 3 months to get the whole set, to get one set. So if you want to have the set for the DPS and for a controller, for example, it's going to take you quite a while. So if you want to get a full set, you may need to use a few replay badges to do so. And even worse, if you want a full set DPS and a full set controller, then you will have to use replay badges. There's no escaping it. And now they've also added the elite gear to this vendor. But as you can see, there's some faction needed for the elite gear. So the style is pretty much the same with some more shiny effects. But the stats are better than the regular gear, and also you have the bonuses that you can get from having a full set of elite gear. And you may have noticed some of the gear is saying that it gives you some divine favors when you equip it. From what I understand, divine favor is needed to get some of the rewards in the game. There are some reward where you'll see some requirement that requires divine favor, and even with this vendor, I could have sworn that some of the things that I can buy now, I could not buy them before I got the divine favor feat. But I will make a video about the divine favor by itself a bit later. But let's take the opportunity to look at some of the other vendors that I never covered in my previous videos. Essentially, I did make a video with all the vendors from tier 1 to tier 7. At least it was all the vendors we had at that point. But let's take a quick look at some of the endgame vendors that I wasn't able to cover quite yet. So let's get started with the vendor where we can actually buy the Shock Jog gear. It's a really nice set of Slimline gear that is all kinds of awesome. So essentially, you have this little vendor here who's the vendor for episodes 18, 19, and 20. Essentially, all vendors for a while, all the vendors were linked to 3 episodes. So this one was the gear that you were getting from episode 18, 19, and 20. It's when they were trying to give us episode on a monthly basis. This is what the entire shock jock gear looks like. I did make a few videos about the shock jock gear, so if you want to see more of it, there's videos specifically with that style. But I really love that style. It looks all kinds of awesome, and it looks great for quite a few characters. If you want to make a Black Adam character, this works fine. If you want to make a Jay Garrick Flash character, this works fine as well. A Shazam character, this works fine as well. So there's quite a few characters that can benefit from using that style. It's a pretty neat style. And also there's various plans that you can get for crafting. Essentially, you can craft various pieces of gear if you purchase the plan needed for that. The idea at the time was that if somehow if with the random number generator you were not able to get the gear you wanted, you could get it from crafting it. But the crafting was so complicated and took so long that it was a bit useless in my book. And here we have the vendor 21, 22, 23. This one is selling a gear that's inspired by the character Static Shock. Again, it's a lightning based character. So you're going to have that neat lightning bolt emblem on his chest. I guess they had lightning on their mind for a bit when they were designing gear, I suppose. And also, in the vendor, you also have the plans to craft the gear that drops in the missions. So essentially, the gear that drops from missions, if you're not lucky and we're not able to get a certain piece of gear because for some reason the random number generator does not want to give you that piece of gear, you can purchase a plan and you can craft the gear yourself. I have to admit, I can't recall what the nano mesh gear is at all. I guess I would have to look it up. And last but not least is the vendor for episode 24, 25, and 26. This was the Red Hood gear. It's a piece of gear that's inspired by Red Hood. Essentially, Jason Todd at some point became... at some point, it was the evil Red Hood who did seem to be like an enemy of the Batman. And then at some point, he became some sort of anti-hero where he wasn't all that bad. It was a bit convoluted at some point. But anyway, essentially here you can get the gear from for the Red Hood. One of the pieces that I really like is the back piece. Essentially, you have these holsters that can hold 4 guns. I thought it was a neat piece of gear. And also towards the bottom of what the vendor is selling, again he is selling plans to be able to craft the gear that is dropped in the mission. This one is the tempered alloy. Oh no, that's the fusion formed. Okay, so that is the Firestorm gear. So I'm not sure what gear our friend 21, 22, and 23 is actually selling. Anyways, so that's pretty much it for the endgame vendors essentially. So if you're looking for the vendors for Amazon Fury Part 3, now you know where to look. And as you can see, it's a really nice gear inspired by Superman. But it will take a while to collect the whole set because it is pretty pricey. And even worse if you want to collect 2 sets of gear or even the elite version of the set of gear. So that's pretty much it for now, guys. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.